All right, I love when we have the judge here because when I get something that gets crazy and runs by us, I think, Judge, help. And I wanted to get his insight in this because Apple CEO Tim Cook, right now, after finishing up an interview at MSNBC, I guess the interview is going to air on April 6th, said he was open to regulation, said that we've never believed that these detailed profiles of people that have incredibly deep personal information that is patched together from several sources should exist, going on to say, I think we're beyond that. It is time for a set of people to think about what can be done. What they are kicking around in Washington right now as they prepare to talk to Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook is some regulations that Zuckerberg himself said he was open to. Generally not a good idea to pre-regulate yourself, but that's a separate issue. I want to raise this with the judge. So much to talk about here. That's a big deal.
Well, if you're talking about regulations which require corporations to keep secret what they learn about you, those privacy regulations already exist. The problem with them is when you purchase this, I'm holding up my iPhone, you don't realize it, but you've agreed that you won't sue them. If you have a problem with them, you'll go to arbitration, which will be in secret, and the arbitrator...
That's built in?
Yes. Yes, the same thing with your telephone. This violates, in my view, the Constitution, which guarantees you a jury trial when you have a grievance against somebody, and there's a federal cause of action there. On the other hand, if you begin the regulation of Amazon, Google, Facebook, which effectively consist in businesses that transmit information, protected speech, where's it going to end? Is it going to get into the regulation of political speech?
Then what do you say, though, Judge? And I've heard you espouse that on other shows. And one of the things you've argued is this idea, be careful what you wish for, you just might get, et cetera. You can go too far. But what if a company is abusing that privilege and it alone is taking the information it has on you and sharing that with people willingly or not, or ignorantly or not? Does the government have an obligation there to say, you are the one that's abusing that privacy, and we must dial that back?
Well, the statutes that regulate privacy are already there. The government is lax in enforcing them. You'll see why I'm smiling. Because what entity on the planet is the biggest violator of our privacy rights? The government itself. So the way to regulate privacy is to bring an action against these companies, get a court to invalidate the arbitration agreement, and bring it before a jury. What jury would not be sympathetic to the harm that's caused if your and my personal information, against our will and without us knowing about it, ends up in Cambridge Analytica in Cambridge, England, and they're selling it to the highest bidder?
That might be one of the rare cases, Judge, where people find out about it.
Right.
How do you feel, just the big privacy advocate that you are, where companies are willy-nilly sharing this information or with a wink and a nod, handing it over to someone? I mean, that's not going to stop. And that the advocates for doing something about this are the ones saying this is a way to stop.
It's hard for me to believe that the federal government would enforce privacy laws that it violates against private corporations, but not against itself. The courts will.
Well, I might point out, this is the same government that was lecturing banks about financial propriety after the meltdown, pot meet kettle, but that's the government.
Well, let's see. Who owned Freddie and Fannie? Right, of course.
Right. But that's never gotten in the way before.
Correct. It's a difficult thing to address, because if you don't know that your privacy is being violated, if someone's making money by selling private information about you and you don't know it, then you're not going to bring a cause of action. You're not going to hire a lawyer to bring a cause of action.
A technologically advanced lawyer and legal mind. Now, you use this technology. Do you do so knowing full well that certain things may be compromised, just you using it?
No, I don't. I mean, I Google like everybody else, and inside of this is all kinds of information, and I hope that whoever I send an email to is not electronically going to be able to get into my contacts or my bank account. But you know it's a risk, and you know it's a real risk. Yes, it certainly is a risk. The answer is probably an insurance market for this, where I buy an insurance policy and the insurance company surveils the market and lets me know.
But you're not in the Scott McNeely camp. The Sun Microsystems CEO famously said, if you want your privacy, don't use this technology. Get over it.
No. I'm in the camp of, I'm in the Neil Cavuto camp. I want my privacy and I'm willing to pay for it. If I have to pay for an insurance policy to surveil the market for me, they will do it for other people as well, so we will split the cost. I'll pay that premium.
So if the government were to intervene here and like, I don't like the idea of the government looking at my searches like the one I did today, reporters who are better than Charlie Gasparino. And I got.
Well, there couldn't have been anything.
Right.
Was there an answer to that?
There was. I can't reveal. But you know what I'm saying? Like, be careful then, because everything is scrutinized.
Correct. I don't want them. I don't want the government going into my iPhone to protect me. Remember Ronald Reagan? I'm here from the government.
And I'm here
to protect you. 9 most dangerous words in the English language. I would trust a court, and I would trust an insurance carrier whose premiums I'm paying.
You're brilliant. Your Reagan impression is awful.